Hey guys, it's Elizabeth. Welcome back to another video on the vlog channel. So today, my hair is acting a little crazy. Today I'm going to be sharing what it's like to visit Disney during a pandemic. All right, welcome back everybody. My name is Elizabeth. I am a former cast member of Disney. My family is DVC members and we have done Disney for decades. We've gone since I was a little kid. I used to live in Canada and we would travel once a year for our spring break and it was everything to me. And I loved it so much that when I went to college, I decided to go and work at Disney while I was in school in South Florida and just adored it. And so now we go as much as we can. We're annual pass members and we had a lot of trips planned this year, as I'm sure you guys have too, and everything was canceled, right? Because of March. We were going to Punta Cana. We were planning to do Alani. We had Alani booked for June, our first trip to Hawaii ever, and more and more trips. We just had so many things on the schedule in New Orleans, and everything was just like gone. So after being in quarantine for months, we decided, since we live in Florida, if we're going to take a trip when things started opening up a little bit, why not do Disney, but not do the theme parks? So we have annual weekday select passes, which means that we can go to the parks not in the summer or holidays like Christmas and Easter, and we don't do the weekends either, so we do the weekdays. So we decided, let's do like a pool shopping eating vacation. And if you want to see the whole vlog, I have a lot of videos that if they aren't uploaded yet, they will be uploaded soon on this channel from this trip. So what our room looked like, and a food grocery haul, and even a souvenir haul. So I'll have a whole bunch of videos on this channel sharing all of the things. But I asked on Instagram in my stories, and if you want to check it out, it's Elizabeth Medero _. And I've shared all of the scoop in real time there and asked you guys if you had any questions. And so I wanted to answer honestly, what was it like to be there during the pandemic? And I know that everybody's different. Everyone's experience will be different. So this is mine. And I'm just going to share with you what it was like. So one of the questions was, let me find it right here. Did you have to wear masks? And the answer was yes. So I know everyone has very strong opinions about the mask, but I feel claustrophobic wearing a mask. I feel that when I wore a mask at Disney, if you're an avid Disney goer, normally the cast members seek you out and really chat with you and are like, hey, we're so glad you're here. And they just welcome you. And that feeling of feeling just so wonderful while you're there. I felt like when I wore a mask that they didn't see me and they didn't talk to me like 9 times out of 10. Every once in a while there was a cast member that would go out of their way, but I just felt awful, like awful. I also had a really hard time breathing in the masks because it's South Florida in July. It's the hottest month of the year. So it was really challenging for me. Also, we had purchased before we went Disney gaiters. So a gaiter is like a piece of fabric that you can pull up this way. And I thought, well, then I could wear it as a headband. As you can see, I like headbands. Or I could wear it around my neck as like a little scarf, which you don't need a scarf in July, but I thought it'd be easier to put up and down. And like right before we went, they were like, no gaiters. So we were like, oh, okay, bummer. So they do sell masks at Disney. They run small. So my daughter, who's 13, had a medium and it was a little small on her. So I had bought the large mask and it was a little small on me being a grown-up. And I found the paper medical looking masks that we had a bunch of that we brought with us were easier for me to breathe out of than their fabric ones that Disney had. And if you don't have an issue wearing a mask, then you'll probably be just fine. But anytime you walk into a store, walking in a public place, there's signs everywhere. We did get breaks wearing masks anytime you sat down at a restaurant, if you had a food or drink, and at the pool. As soon as you walked into those pool gates, they didn't care and you could take it off. And so we lived at the pool, which was our plan anyway. I don't know if I'll be able to go to Disney, the theme parks, wearing a mask. I really don't know if I'd be able to handle it. And I really don't know if I want to spoil the Disney magic for me anyway. It may not be a factor for you, being in the theme park and being reminded of COVID, because I go to the theme parks for an escape. So we used this trip and kept reminding ourselves we're here to eat, shop, and swim. And those were the priorities, because if we were gonna go to a regular hotel somewhere else, that's what we would be doing, eating, shopping, and swimming. And Disney, I thought, well, let's just do that here, because we know Disney's safety measures are going to be above and beyond. I will say, with the masks, the cast members were extra with the masks. And I don't know how else to say it. If you saw on Instagram, I did shed a few tears, and I couldn't believe I was like crying on Instagram. But our second day at Disney, we went to Disney Springs. We were walking around quite a bit, so I was wearing the mask for a long time. I was in the World of Disney shop. My family wasn't with me, they were all ahead. And I had my mask. I was starting to have a hard time breathing, and not hyperventilating, but I was getting close to that point where I was like, I need a second, I cannot catch my breath. And so I put my mask down below my nose just for not even like 30 seconds to take a breath. And I had a cast member full on yell at me to put it over my nose. And that just pushed me over the edge. I started like crying, and my husband all of a sudden saw me, was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm not okay. He's like, let's go outside. And so if you have a drink or food, you cannot be walking with it. You have to stop stationary, and then you can drink and take your mask off. Because I think people were like, I'm drinking, and then that was their way around the rule. I also heard on our very last day that they banned masks with filters. So I know that that was something we had thought of, that maybe that would have been more helpful for me, is to have a mask with a filter. So I think the rumor is that people were taking the filters out and then just breathing regularly. I don't know. It was just like, it was a lot for me. So that's the deal with the masks. Someone else asked, how did our kids do with the masks? They did great. They did like 10 times better than me. I never heard them complain. They always grabbed their masks. They always wore them. And the rule right now, I think, is if your kids are 2 and older, they have to wear a mask. So I don't know if this is going to go on forever, or this is just the season until Corona goes away. I don't know. What else was I going to say? Oh, one other story about the mask. We went to Beach Club Resort, and we tried to go to all the different resorts to like eat and shop and look at their things. And I had asked the lady there about a size. They had Beach Club Resort sweatshirts in small and large, but I was looking for the medium and asked her for it. So I had my drink. I was stationary. I was about 3 feet away from her. And I pulled my mask down to drink, and she was like, with as much attitude as you could muster, which you don't expect at Disney, ma'am, could you please put your mask over your face? And I was like, I'm drinking. She goes, yeah, but you're in close proximity to me. Just like that. And I was like, okay. And my husband was nearby, so I just walked away from her. I was like, you know what? If I buy this sweatshirt for however much it is, because you know Disney is so much money, all I'm going to think about is when I wear this is that you were so not very kind to me about the mask. Like, I just thought, I don't know. I just thought, if I had Corona, they're taking your temperature everywhere you go at Disney. Like, if you're going to get on the monorail, they take your temperature. Before you go into the restaurant, they take your temperature. Before you go into Disney Springs, they take your temperature. And it's like one of those guns that they don't even touch you. It's just like, from here, they can just tell. And if you have a temperature, they don't let you in. But we didn't have a temperature, so we were fine. So I was thinking, they're taking temperatures everywhere. You're wearing a mask. If I had Corona, is it going to come out of my face and into yours? Like, I just thought the focus was so much on safety and less about the magic, which I guess it should be right now, but I was a little bit caught off guard at the not very niceness about it. Like, it was like as if I had Corona. They were treating me like, oh, like back away from me. And I wasn't expecting it, and I didn't enjoy that. And I've talked to a lot of you guys on Instagram saying that you don't want that feeling when you're there. And we were trying to prepare ourselves for that, and I think that's why we kept retreating back to the pool. Somebody else asked, is there still Disney magic? And I would say yes. It just was a lot harder to find. And for those of you that don't know what that means, when you're at Disney, cast members go out of their way to look for, to create magical moments for you so that it's super special. So like when we went to Wilderness Lodge, we went to Whispering Canyon for dinner one night, and our cast member who served us dinner was, I think his name was Gustavo, and he said we could call him Gus. He had a mask on and then a plastic, or like the shield in front, and he had a very strong accent. So we had a very difficult time like communicating, like understanding him, because he was so covered up. I don't know what all the rules and guidelines are for cast members there, but I am sure there's a ton, because they're trying to be super, super safe. But he was trying to joke around with us, and we had a bit of a challenging time fully understanding, and that was disappointing because he seemed like such a cool guy. However, my son asked for lots of ketchup, and if you've ever been to Whispering Canyon, they used to do, which they're trying to make sure that nobody's touching everything that everyone else is touching. If you ask for ketchup, they say, someone asked for ketchup, and then you have to bring all the ketchup bottles, and I'm sure I have it on an old vlog where we went and it happened, and it's so funny. You have to go to the other table, get all the ketchup bottles, and then they bring them to your table. So you end up with like 30 ketchup bottles, and the next time someone asks for ketchup, it's your job to take all the ketchup to them. So we didn't get that, obviously, but he brought out a plate of ketchup, and he put it in the shape of Mickey's head and just like squirted it out, and that was really cute. So that was a cool moment. The other thing is every time we went to Old Key West, I cannot rave about it enough. So we stayed at Disney's Old Key West Resort. It's a DVC resort. It was a condo. We got a 1-bedroom, so the kids were sleeping in the living room, and we had a room, and it was so nice. And every time we pulled into the gate, the guards were so welcoming. Welcome home, and just so friendly. And in the shop, they were so friendly. And at the pool, we were playing Phase 10 and Disney Uno that I purchased. So we played those by the pool, and we got really competitive because my family was there. So we're all playing together. And one of the lifeguards came over and said, let's make it interesting. So she got a beach ball that was brand new, sealed up, and she said, whoever wins gets to win the beach ball, and so put it in the middle of the table. So that was really cool because they didn't need to do that. The other thing is the lifeguards were so cool with the kids. So there's a platform at the pool. The Old Key West pool is really, really cool. It's a sand castle water slide, but you have to walk really high up to get to it. And when you come down the slide, the opening for it is in the shape of Mickey. So it's just really cool. The lifeguards that are on duty there was a couple that were just went above and beyond. At the platform, they were doing jumping competitions with the kids. So would tell them to jump like a flamingo or jump like this, and then they would judge them on how big their splash was, and just really interacted with them, which was really fun for the kids. So the kids looked forward to that. Normally when we go to Disney and we go to different resorts, we find going into the different resorts are so fun because we can go eat at them and try different foods. And we had reservations at different ones like Wilderness Lodge I mentioned at Whispering Canyon, as well as Kona Cafe, which was at the Polynesian, and loved going there. But there was one time, it was our last night, I wanted to go for Dole Whip one last time and go to Captain Cook's, which is the quick service at Polynesian, and get some Polynesian noodles. And when we pulled up to the gate, I was so mad. I'm still so mad. So we paid a fortune to be here. We love Disney so much. And the guard said, do you have a reservation? We're like, no, we're going to Captain Cook's and we want to get a Dole Whip. And he said, if you don't have a reservation and you're not staying here, you can't come on property. You're like, what? Like, we're staying on property. We are on property. Like, we're not staying at this resort. He goes, no, you can't. And I said, so I started thinking, like, how can I get around this? Like, what can we do? Because that doesn't make any sense. And I said, what if we do a mobile order with Captain Cook's? Because there's no way to make a reservation for a quick service restaurant or for Dole Whip. Like, you can't do that at the Polynesian. And he goes, sure, yeah, you could do that. You just have to pull over and then you could place it and then you have to show me proof that you've done that. And I was like, we were being treated as if we didn't belong there. We were treated as if we weren't supposed to be there. Like, what were we doing there? Like, we had no right to be there. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. I'm thinking, Disney is practically empty. That was another question someone said, was like, was it busy? Disney is practically empty. It's July. It's normally the busiest month of the year. Everybody is there because they're on summer vacation. The roads were empty. The parking lots for the theme parks were empty. We went to Boardwalk and there was no one on the boardwalk but our family. And at first it's like, how cool is that? Like, we have the whole shop to ourselves, but then you realize what that means, that there's nobody here. Like, it just was so sad. So we go into we pulled over, placed the order, came back and showed him proof, which just totally spoiled our last night. Like, it was our last night to have Dole Whip, and I didn't even want it at that point because he made us feel so awful. And Disney's all about experiences and making you feel wonderful, and it's just, that is why we go to Disney, is to be treated so well, and they make the stories and the magic and everything is so wonderful, and it's like everyone went out of their way to like put their thumb down on you, like to make you feel terrible, and I was already feeling terrible because of the masks. So we go in and there's not one person in the whole lobby of Polynesian. There's maybe another family in the gift shop. We go to wait for Dole Whip, which normally in July at Polynesian would be like 15 people. No one's in line for Dole Whip. So he's making it as hard as it was for us to get in. You'd think you'd want us there to go buy Dole Whip. You'd think you'd want us there to order our noodles at Captain Cook's. It was just bizarre, and I don't understand. So when we got back to Old Key West, which again, I can't say enough good things about, my husband went to the manager there and just shared some of those experiences that I'm sharing with you guys. And she apologized and said that when they first opened, they didn't know what to expect. So those were the guidelines, those were the rules, but things have loosened up over the last few weeks. But obviously this cast member didn't get the memo. So I don't know all the rules. And those of you that are watching, if you are a cast member, you could share with us in the comments, you know, because I haven't done all the research of like what can cast members do and not do. And I've been watching the Disney food blog to try to learn, like, okay, so things are changing daily. Like you couldn't wear the gaiters or the filter masks. So I was trying to keep up to date with it. But the manager was so sweet and said, what can I do? And are you going to dinner tonight? But we weren't, we already had eaten. So there's nothing really she could do. My husband just wanted to make sure she knew so that, you know, they can make it better for the next people. But we went into the gift shop and bought a few things. I did have somebody else who asked, is it discounted right now at Disney because of the pandemic? And the answer is yes and no. So our resort was not discounted. We booked DVC and it was regular price. And originally we had booked for Beach Club Resort because we wanted to do the sand bottom pool. And I think it was a week before we found out that the sand bottom pool was closed. So the only pool that would be available is just like a small rectangle boring pool that like we have at our house, like just a plain pool. And we were paying top dollar to go to Beach Club. So we decided to switch to Key West, which was probably the best decision because we just adored it. If you are an annual pass holder, normally your discount is 20% off in the shops. It's 30% off now in the shops. So we bought a lot of stuff and really enjoyed that discount. So that was really great. Somebody else asked, is there transportation that brings you to the park where we were staying? So when you stay on Disney property, there are Disney buses. And they will take you to the theme parks. They'll take you to any of the parks or to Disney Springs. And they have like partitions set up. We didn't use the buses, we used our car because we kind of know our way around Disney. But if you were flying in, you can use their transportation. If you're staying at one of the Magic Kingdom resorts, they're doing the monorail. And we were wondering, was the monorail still gonna be running? And they had partitions set up between the car. So normally the monorail has like two parts that's pretty open, and they had a partition, so it was like each car was kind of its own thing. So that was pretty good. Someone else asked, were people stressed? And I would say the workers, the cast members seemed very on edge. I don't know if they're concerned about catching corona or the guidelines, which I know normally because I used to work at Disney, you know, eons ago. The guidelines normally are pretty high up there. The things that you have to adhere to and the guidelines and procedures you have to follow are a lot. I've never experienced that anywhere else I worked, and I used to work in the food and beverage industry at Disney. So I can only imagine the expectations that are being held for them now is a lot. But I'm also wondering, because there's not a lot of cast members they're needing, like as opposed to normally because there's not a lot of people visiting there right now, are the workers that are there now, are they the ones that have seniority? So maybe they've been working at Disney for a long time and maybe lost some of the magic. Like I don't really know, but I know how I felt, and I know I felt like they were on edge and that we were a problem. Like that's how I felt. I felt like we were bothering them. Like here's another example, and I think this is like the last story, is when we got to Wilderness Lodge and checked in for Whispering Canyon for our dinner, my kids and myself were in the gift shop and my husband checked in. Well, with Disney, you can check into your room and do mobile ordering and everything on the Disney Experience app on your phone. So I had booked our dinner on our phone, the reservation. And so my husband checked in. He said, "Hi, we're here to check in. Our table's at such and such a time." And they said, "Oh, do you have your Disney Experience app?" Well, I keep track of it for the family. He doesn't. He goes, "No, my wife does, but she's in the gift shop." They said, "Well, can you download the app and check in there so we don't have to do it for you?" He's like, "No, I don't have access to all that. My wife does it. Can't you just check me into the computer there?" And the lady just stared at him and then with attitude did it and goes, "Okay, sir." Like as if we were a problem for checking into the restaurant. Like, what? Like, what is that? I don't even know. And then the last question someone asked is, would we go back during the pandemic? And this is a hard question to answer, because the way I feel right now, I would say no. I'd like to wait until you don't have to wear masks and for this to just chill out a little bit. That's how I feel. But I never want to like never say never. I don't know how long this is gonna last. I don't know if we're gonna be in this space for years, months. And if we're not able to travel far, we live in the state of Florida. I felt like Disney did an incredible job with the safety. Like their focus on the masks and cleaning and sanitizer and signs like is unbelievable. I was sitting at the pool and I can't tell you how many times they came by and wiped down the handrails for getting into the pool. Like all the time, cleaning everywhere, all the time. So I know their standards are there. I don't want to go back with masks. I definitely don't want to go back to the theme park with masks, but I'm also not wanting to not go for like 6 months or a year. We usually go to Disney 3 times a year, and I don't know, but I would say I would 100% not even question going back to Old Key West. They did a fabulous job. I cannot rave about it enough. And when my husband talked to the manager there and just shared our experiences, she said they're just a little bit more relaxed there. And I'm just so thankful that it worked out for us not to stay at Beach Club and to stay at Key West, because it's exactly what we needed. We needed some family time to chill out and to swim. And I'm just so thankful for the resort and how special they made it. So if anyone's at Disney listening, which I don't know if they would be, but props to Key West. They're doing something right. So after you stay at Disney, they send you a survey. So after I finish filming this video, I will be answering that survey. And I don't know how everyone else is feeling and how they're thinking. So I would love to know your thoughts, but be kind, because I know we all have different perspectives. I'm just sharing my experience and how we felt. So hope you found this video helpful if you're planning on going to Disney. That was our insight into it, and definitely more videos to come. If you want to see videos on organizing, planning, living a healthy life, I have another main channel, which is Elizabeth Medero, and I'm always sharing all kinds of stuff over there. That's our main channel. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much. Bye.